Step number one is to draw a rectangle. Okay, I'm very quickly just going to chuck. The size is roughly 220. So I'll draw the rectangle on this work plane here, and start the rectangle, and I'll just type in 220, and then I hit the tab key, and then I'll type in 220. I'm going to make it a square, just to keep things simple. So I've drawn a square, and then I'll extrude that. The thickness of the MDF is 4 millimeters. Okay, if you extrude it by more than that, and if you're not sure what thickness your material is, then that's okay, you can just guess. So select the profile to extrude it, and then the arrow comes up, and I'll just type in the number 4. That's given it a thickness of 4 millimeters, and I'll say okay. So that is the base. Don't try and do this as I'm doing it, you'll never be able to keep up. I'm recording this demonstration for you though. So there's the base. I'm going to now go into my bodies and use the body that I've created to make it into a component. So there's the body, right click, create component, and I'll call that base. So I'll click on it there, and I'll make sure that that's called base. Step 1 done, okay? Step 2 is to create the piece of wood on top of that. So all I'm going to do is say create new component, and I'm going to say okay, and then I'll just draw a rectangle, and I'm going to sketch it on top of that one. And you can actually click to the same points as the previous object, you don't have to measure anything out, and then I'll extrude that. And that will be extruded also by 4, because it's the same thickness. Now, I don't know if you can see, but the one that was underneath, I'm not currently editing that piece, which is why it's gone clear, and this is the one that I'm working on. But as you can see, I've got base and then component 2/1. So, what?
How high did you extrude it to?
4 millimeters. Okay? So, if I go back up here, if we have a look at this now, you can see I've activated the whole model, which means that both of these things are active. If I go down here and say click base, then only the base is active and the top one's gone transparent. Likewise, if I go here and click there, vice versa. So you can work on things individually, or you can turn them off if you need to edit other ones. So, there we go. That's the two pieces of wood sandwiched together, one on top of the other. Alright? Now, in terms of getting my animal shapes on there, you will need to have an image, either one that you've hand drawn or one from the internet. So I've got one from the internet, so I'm going to insert it onto the top one. So I need to activate this. So I'm going to call this top and activate it by clicking this little dot so that I can edit it. Insert decal, and then I'm going to put the decal on the top surface, so I select it, and then I go to my image selection tool, and I'll look for that animals screenshot. I do have it on my desktop, I believe. There it is, PNG, open that up. And with a little bit of tweaking, I can get it to look right. So first of all, I'll spin it around with the outside handle, checking that I get it exactly 90 degrees. This little arc, if you like, in the corner will let you scale it up and down so you can get it a suitable size. And then with the middle one, I can move it into position so that I've got it in the right place. Right? It's crucial you get that right, because if you're going to laser cut this is going to generate the file. So if you had that off center, then when you laser cut it, everything will be off center. You could choose the top view just to make sure it's definitely centered like that. And then once you're happy with the decal, say okay. Alright. And now what we're going to do is use something called the spline tool just to draw. You can see I've just got sort of squiggly lines, squiggly shapes around the edges of the animals. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to say sketch, create sketch on the top. And then in Sketch, we've got a tool called Spline, and it's a really good tool. So watch what happens when we do it. You click once, and it will start the spline. And then as you click, it creates this, well, it's called a spline, but it creates a wavy line that will follow your mouse clicks, and you just basically keep clicking all the way around. Things to watch out for are, as you see, my elephant, ear, and giraffe toe are very close. So I just need to make sure that I click in an appropriate place that I'll be able to keep those parts separate at a later date. And even sometimes when you click, you think that's not going to look right, and then you do the next click and it sort of sorts itself out. And then I'm going to come around here, and then when I get to this one here, I'm going to double click the mouse. It tells the spline tool that you've finished doing the spline. So I double click, and as you can see, it's changed in appearance. And what we can actually do with that now is we can extrude that as a cut. Okay, so I'll just demonstrate. I'm not going to go around and draw around all my animals. It'll take too long. You don't need to see that. But that's obviously a process that you would repeat for all of those. Although, one thing I should point out, that was one sketch. Do one sketch per animal. So do one, do the spline, and then say stop sketch. So you'll notice a minute ago I was still in that sketch. I had to say stop sketch, which was there. Stop sketch, finish that sketch so that it's there, because we need it to be separate so we can laser cut it and so we can extrude it separately from the other ones. So make sure you do that. Then I would just say sketch again, spline for another spline, click the top surface. We'll do the hippo really quickly. It probably won't work out right, but I'm going to rush it just for an example. There's the hippo done. Double click to finish. There's the spline. By the way, you can actually go in and once you've done the spline, you can grab these little points and you can neaten it up and stretch things and move things if you need to. So that's me done 2, and they're both on separate sketches, right? Or are they? I think I actually did them both on the same sketch. So, having a look at that now, we can then choose Create Extrude, select that one, say -4, because that was the thickness of the top piece, say OK, and it will delete them. And then if I activate the whole part, that comes back into play. And you'll be wondering, well, obviously, what do I do now? I've got a piece missing here. I don't have the piece of wood that goes in there. There's nothing there. So the way we do that is this is going to now become another new component, right? But it's really easy to create because we've got the shape there, and we just steal that shape. So I say create new component, and this is going to be called hippo. So I know who it is or what it is. And I'm going to click, just say OK. It doesn't matter about using whatever parent you want to use. And then I'm going to say create sketch on that surface there. And I need to make sure I select the correct surface, like that. And then in sketch, we have something called project. And project will let you project shapes from other parts of your drawing. So I'll project that, say OK, and then I can extrude that, create, extrude, click, pull it up, and it should be 5mm. Say OK. Right? Now, that part is now back in play. I've now got a part I can laser cut, I can decal the hippo back on there as well. If I went I'll show you an example. If I say insert decal on that top surface, and I choose the same image, which was this one, it doesn't matter that the image has all the other animals on it, because what I can actually do is scale it, spin it 180 degrees, like I did last time, scale it up, and you obviously need to get it just to the right scale. I'm not sure what that would be. Move it. Obviously the hippo's still a bit small there. Oops, wrong stretch. I want to stretch it like that. Move it into position until you've got the hippo. Where did he go? I think I've spun it around there. I think I've put it onto wrong surface. Should be this surface. No. There we go. Spin it round. He's there somewhere, right? This will take you some time to get right. I don't know what I'm doing there. Maybe I'll need to look at that. Forget that. We'll try that a different way. But we've now got that as a separate part. If I activate everything, then you can see, I think I might have extruded, I extruded that 5 instead of 4. That was a big mistake. If you have done that, you can go in and change it. I can show you how. But that's now a separate part that can be laser cut. This part can be laser cut. Everything there could be laser cut using the files that you've created. Okay? If you're going to add the handles, you would need a hole in this component. So hippo needs a hole in the middle of them. So I need to activate hippo, create a circle on the hippo somewhere, decide how big you want that to be, and then extrude that as a cut. So create, extrude, click that, pull it back, 4, I've made it 5 by mistake, extrude that as a cut, and then your handle is another separate component. Yeah? If you can get as far as that, I wouldn't worry about the handles too much at the moment, because that's quite a lot to take in. Okay? So I'm going to stop that video.